Hello and welcome live from Jibonge TV. I'm Michelle Macau. We are with you for the next 25 minutes. Thank you for joining us. This is the Daily Focus. And join the conversation on our social media handles: Facebook, The Daily Focus KE, Twitter at The Daily Focus KE, and use hashtag The Daily Focus KE.
Kenya's retirement divide widens as millions in the informal sector age without pensions, forcing many to work well into their 70s just to survive. In Elgeyo Marakwet, families are rebuilding after deadly landslides swept through villages, destroying over 1,000 homes and displacing hundreds. A surge in cyber attacks raises national alarm, with more than 2.5 billion digital threats recorded in just 3 months, putting mobile money and banking apps at risk. And months after the Maandamano protests, tensions remain beneath the surface as communities struggle with deep social divisions and slow economic recovery.
We begin with a growing crisis affecting millions of Kenyan workers, the rising gap between those who retire with dignity and those forced to keep working well into the old age. As formal workers enjoy pensions, informal workers, who make up the majority, retire with nothing. Our reporter Ezra Odayambo with more.
Across Kenya, a quiet crisis is unfolding, one that rarely makes headlines but impacts generations. While formal sector employees have the safety of structured pension schemes, millions of informal workers continue to age without any form of financial safety. For boda riders, mama mbogas, juakali artisans, and domestic workers, retirement is not a transition, it is a luxury they can't afford. Without mandatory contributions or consistent income, many remain trapped in a cycle where working into their 60s and 70s become the only means of survival.
Everybody should just ensure that his old age or her old age period is taken care of when he is a young person.
This growing divide is widening social and economic inequalities. Families are forced to stretch limited resources, young adults take on additional financial burdens, and communities lose productivity as older citizens struggle without support. And while many young people recognize the importance of saving, few actually start, often due to low income, limited awareness, or mistrust of pension systems. As the government and financial institutions push for voluntary schemes, the biggest question remains: will Kenyans in the informal sector adopt a culture of early saving before the crisis depends further? Kenya needs urgent reforms, from expanding pensions coverage to lowering the cost of contributions. But the challenge goes deeper than policy. It's about changing mindsets, building trust, and making retirement savings affordable for people earning as little as 200 shillings a day. Without that safety net, millions of Kenyans face a brutal reality, working until they physically can't anymore. No rest, no dignity, just survival. Ezra Odayambo, Jibonge TV, Nairobi.
And now our correspondent Ezra Odayambo joins us live. Ezra, are young people aware of the importance of starting pension savings early?
Well, yes, Michelle. The young people are really aware of the saving and pension scheme, but now they know it theoretically, but not practically, because currently young people are foreshadowed with what they want to possess now, not knowing what they are facing to the next life. So yes, they know, but saving in practical level, no.
How does lack of pension affect families and communities?
Well, lack of pensions, one, create over-reliance of funds from relatives and those people who you are close with. And this over-dependence, one, creates one, nitty-gritty enmity, and two, they make you go lower than what you've been working hard for over the years. So yes, these factors can be, again, reinforced by our education on how we do our savings and having our financial literacy sharpened over and over again. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Ezra. Kenya's workforce is split between two very different worlds, On one side, we have the formal sector workers whose salaries automatically contribute to NSSF and employer pension plans. But on the other hand, in the informal sector, the story is completely different. With me is Peter Odero, a pension consultant.
My name is Peter Awor. Currently, doing consultancy in the retirement benefit arrangement. Before then, for the last 28 years, I've been in a retirement benefit schemes, working with the Jubilee Insurance. And basically, when I was leaving employment, not as a result of retirement, but I just left employment so that I can do my own things. So currently, I'm doing the consultancy.
Mr. Peter, how is unequal pension access widening the gap between different social groups in Kenya?
Because of lack of knowledge. Because of lack of knowledge for those that are attaining the retirement age. They have problems. People would like to have all their money into their pocket, forgetting how long are they going to live after retirement. So we would like to have all the money in our pocket, and we have not prepared of how we are going to spend this money. I want to bring this to your attention because I know some of you were not there before. During the reign of President Moi, they brought in the issue of, it was a kind of analysis that they were taking. People were given money as they attained the retirement age. You were given the full amount. And what was realized is that very many of those that were given had to misuse their money, passed on, because they did not know what to do with the money. So what are we trying to put across? For formal employees, they have not involved themselves in business outside there. So when you give them the lump sum, they do not know, they do not understand what they are supposed to do with that lump sum. So people mess up with the lump sum. And that is now the challenge that those that have attained the retirement age are getting into. We do not understand how to handle the lump sum that we are given at the time of retirement. So people, the Kenyans, need to be educated that this lump sum that you are given, what are you supposed to do with it? The government has come up with, that is the retirement benefit, through the Retirement Benefit Authority. They have come up with some products that can help these people with this lump sum. One of the products is called an annuity. Another product is called income drawdown. These two products can help people with their lump sum rather than having this lump sum into their pocket, which can ruin their life, or within a short time, the lump sum is gone and then they start depending on their children.
How can the country reduce retirement inequality?
The country is working on it, it's only that it's not being implemented fully. There is what we call individual retirement benefit scheme. An individual can start saving, however little it could be 1,000. Even a student can save. You start saving on a monthly basis 1,000 or even 50 bob. But with a plan that this will help me when I attain the retirement age. I want to talk about our colleagues, our friends outside Kenya, that is the Uganda and the Tanzania. The Ugandan Tanzanians have realized that there is this gap, and therefore they started with the formal employees and formal employment, that it is mandatory that when you get employed, you start saving around 12% of your income. That will take care of these people at the time of retirement. Even those people that are at home, there is an income that they have. They can start saving. So it take care of both formal and informal. Those that are in business can set up a retirement benefit scheme, individual retirement benefit scheme, so that they can start saving for retirement. Get it? What am I talking about? I'm so concerned about people attaining the retirement age and they have nothing to rely on. I would like people to become independent, not to depend on their children, not to depend on any other thing, but to become independent. That if I'm mzee, an old man from home would like to come to town, he or she does not need to be calling left, right, center for the fare to bring them to town.
We often see the elderly people forced to continue doing hard labor at 70 years plus. Do you consider this a form of social marginalization?
Well, it is, because when you attain the retirement age, the formal employees, those who are in formal employment and those that are in informal employment will be all the same. You will need money at that time. So did you save? That's the question is, did you save? If you did not save, then the poverty will crop into your life. That is why when you ask people their age, they would not like to tell you that they are approaching 60, because we relate those that are approaching 60 with poverty. They are not going to have an income, and therefore poverty will crop into their life. So what we are saying here is the gap should be bridged if the government can educate the people about income after retirement.
Now on to our next focus. Residents along the escarpments are living in fear after a new wave of landslides swept through several villages. Homes have been damaged, families displaced, and key roads cut off, raising fresh concerns about the safety and preparedness in the region. Our reporter Abigail Kezia with more.
In Elgeyo Marakwet, the aftermath of the heavy rains is still painfully visible. What began as days of relentless downpour quickly escalated into powerful landslides that tore through villages built along the escarpments. More than 1,000 homes now lie in ruins, flattened, buried or swept away, leaving families at a loss. Roads that once connected communities have been cut off, isolating entire neighborhoods and slowing emergency response efforts. Hundreds of displaced families are now seeking shelter in makeshift camps, where relief agencies say food, clean water and medical supplies remain limited.
Nimekuwa nikijaribu tu kuita majirani tu nitoke nje niite nisikie kama bado wako, wananiambia wako upande hii wako kidogo. Kitu saa 7 hivi nikasikia nduru huko chini, nikaamka nikatoka nje nikasikia nduru inapigwa kabisa. Nikaona hii nduru ijakuwa nini nduru ya kawaida.
For many, the fear of more landslides looms large as the rains persist.
As the country waits for more rainfall, the question remains, how many more lives will be lost before we take landslide preparedness seriously? Abigail Kezia, Jibonge TV, Nairobi.
Early November 2025, heavy rains hit Kenya's Rift Valley, triggering massive landslides in Elgeyo Marakwet County. The calamity destroyed more than 1,000 homes, and according to official reports, at least 21 people died, leaving dozens missing and hundreds more displaced. To understand these challenges, with me is Ben Kitum, Vice Chair Cherengani Hills Ecosystem. Mr. Ben Kitum, with the recent weather conditions, what worries you most, especially with the recent landslide cases?
Like I said, let me give you some bit of background.
Yeah.
Marakwet East, where this landslide happened a lot, consists of 3 major geographical zones. You have the Kerio Valley, which is a lowland, and you have the escarpment, and then you have the highlands. Between the highlands and the escarpment is the forest. But this forest was actually pushed. The escarpment, major part of the escarpment was the forest, was part of the forest. But because of farming activities, as the population grew, people wanted to farm to feed their families. So the forest was pushed and cleared. Yeah? Therefore, making the soils loose. When it rains, like it rained last time, there is nothing to hold the soils. Therefore, it erodes and it goes downstream, and it is very steep. Yeah. So what worries me most is that if this escarpment is not taken care of, meaning if we do not reclaim the forest to hold the soils in the escarpment, then we will continue seeing those kinds of landslide. I'm hoping that we all team up, the community, the NGOs, the county government, and the national government, so that we can plant trees along the escarpment. Actually grow, let's call it grow. We grow trees so that it holds the soil together. And you cannot do that without thinking about the occupation, without thinking about the settlement of the people. Meaning, you've got to resettle the communities who are living along the escarpment. And that needs a lot of sensitization, a lot of education, so that people understand that it is dangerous to continue living there. Let us find some alternative settlement so that we can protect that escarpment. When we protect that escarpment, we protect the water sources. That water source is needed in the lowlands, in the Kerio Valley. A very good place for farming. That will help communities.
Are people in the community aware of the risks of landslides?
Not much. I would say their major concern is livelihood. They want food. And to have food, you want somewhere to grow your food and feed your children. So, I know KFS, Kenya Forest Service, have been doing some bit of moving the people from the forest. But for a long time, it looked like, when you talk of conservation in the Marakwet area, it looked like you're clearing the people for the forest. It shouldn't be that way. Because conservation is mainly about the survival of the field people. So that's why I'm saying education is important, so that everybody knows conservation is for the survival of the people. It's not clearing the people for the forest. You get? Yeah. So that's what's happening right now. People are thinking we are being cleared so that forests can come, so that we can grow forests. So education is important, so that we know. Conserving our environment, reclaiming our forests, its main purpose is for our own survival. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kitum. And that concludes our top stories. After the break, we'll dive deeper into an analysis on the growing digital security threats facing the nation, followed by how the John Maandamano left its mark. This is Jibonge TV. Stay with us.
When it comes to success, you can have it all. You could be a parent and at the top of the corporate ladder, booking the trip of a lifetime, and taking the time to help others, smashing personal bests, all while being unapologetically you. Because there's more than just one type of success. It's multifaceted, and so are you. Safaricom Emerald is the premier lifestyle partner powered by technology, empowering you to live a life without limits. Safaricom Emerald, limitless you.
Welcome back, viewers. For those joining us, my name is Michelle Macau, and you are tuned in to Jibonge TV, and this is the Daily Focus. You can join the conversation on our social media handles: Facebook, The Daily Focus KE, Twitter at The Daily Focus KE, and use the hashtag The Daily Focus KE. Kenya has recorded a huge number in cyber threats in the year 2025. Between January and March alone, over 2.5 billion cyber threat events were detected, from your banking apps and mobile money to personal data stored online. No one is truly safe. Our reporter Elizabeth Knight has more.
In just the first quarter of 2025, digital crime has evolved faster than the system meant to stop it.
Using a technology to support those needs, and one of them is actually issues as you bring in some aspects of value addition and enabling environment, there are also risks that come on board. And one of the risks that is actually coming on with the technology is actually cyber security. One area that has been policies that needs to be looked at, although there are some that are already been proposed, are related to issues with protection of personal data and information around the individuals. As you'd appreciate, insurance companies deal with a lot of personal data, in terms of policyholders and investors. And some of this actually brings up some risks with them. So that policy that needs to be will be actually to enhance those aspects related to the personal data protection and issues that will also drive aspects of trust.
Security teams and exposing just how much unprepared many users are in the face of modern cyber crimes. Digital payments, especially mobile money, are feeling the heaviest impact, with millions relying on mobile transactions for daily living. Criminals have shifted their focus on these platforms. Fraudsters are now able to duplicate mobile applications, manipulate users' interface, and conduct SIM swap operations that hand them full control of victims' accounts. Every day, millions of Kenyans tap to their phones to send money, pay bills, and shop online. It's convenient, it's fast, but it's also increasingly dangerous. Behind the screens, a silent war is being waged. In 2025, cyber criminals are winning. As cyber criminals sharpen the tactics, experts say the first line of defense starts with the user being cautious with their personal information, double-checking suspicious messages, and securing mobile accounts. But until the stronger safeguards are fully enforced across the digital platforms, Kenyans remain at risk. For now, staying alert could be the difference between the safety and becoming the next victim of online fraud. Elizabeth Knight, Jibonge TV, Nairobi.
A growing social divide to a new digital threat. Tonight, we look at how Kenya's future financial security is being shaken from two sides, offline and online. With me is Annette. So Annette, what are the biggest vulnerabilities in Kenya's digital ecosystem at the moment?
The cyber threat landscape is quite serious. This is because there are many cyber threats that are hitting innocent users, and the penetration of the gadgets is quite high, and people are not quite aware of what to do to protect themselves. And the users are clicking on links and ending up questioning later what it is they clicked. So the lack of awareness of the threats makes the situation very serious. Yeah.
With most Kenyans relying on mobile money daily, how at risk are ordinary users to SIM swap fraud and app cloning?
The users are at risk of social engineering, so you'll find perpetrators calling people and they lure them to give out details. So you'll find someone they'll have a long story of how maybe they're an agent somewhere, and the victim will end up sharing their PIN. At the same time, this person is keying in this information to a compromised agent to do a SIM swap. Because for a SIM swap, you need to have the legitimate documents. That's the original ID, and you need to present yourself in person. But these people now can compromise through social engineering so that they have the right information to do a SIM swap.
Are we headed towards a digital economy that becomes unsafe for citizens?
A lot of policy changes and conscious efforts needs to be put out there so that ordinary people are aware of the risks they are at, so that we're not reacting to the victims, but rather the crimes that were prevented beforehand. So we need to protect the innocent person who may not be aware about the antiviruses, the social engineering, so that the policies protect this person. This could be policies like maybe a SIM swap needs a biometric so that you're sure that this is the person that is really doing the SIM swap. And a lot of awareness. We don't have so much awareness of the frauds that are happening, the types of frauds that are out there. So we need heightened awareness, be it posters, a lot of media publications, so that people are alert. And the message of your PIN is your secret needs to be a lot more emphasized so that people are aware of these threats.
Earlier this year, we witnessed a wave of maandamano that disrupted communities across several areas. Though the protests have ended, their impact continues to shape local stability, social unity, and governance structures. Tonight, we examine how communities are navigating the aftermath, the underlying tensions that remain, and what this reveals about the state of the unrest and divisions in the affected areas. The Maandamanos may be months behind us, but their impact is far from over. Communities are still struggling with economic losses, social divisions, and lingering mistrust between residents and the authorities, all of which contribute to the ongoing tension across the region.
Months after the Maandamanos, the ripple effects are still being felt. What began as short-term unrest has evolved into long-term financial strain for businesses and households. Many small traders who are forced to close during protests say recovery has been slow. Losses from damaged property, looted stock, delayed supplies, and interrupted business days continue to weigh them down. Even now, some shops operate with reduced hours, limited stock, or continuous security concerns. For families, the disruption cut deeper than the daily routine. Households dependent on business income still struggle with overdue bills, school fees, and reduced spending power. Many children experience fear during the unrest, and parents report ongoing anxiety and financial uncertainty months later.
When protests end, communities don't automatically heal. They need dialogue, accountability, and real solutions to the issues that brought people to the streets in the first place. Right now, many areas are simply waiting to see if leaders will act, waiting to see if tensions will rise again, or waiting for a future that feels more certain than today. Wesley Ndarathi, Jibonge TV, Nairobi.
And that brings us to the end of the Daily Focus. I'm Michelle Macau. Until next time, take care and stay connected.